What does the term binary mean? And then the second question is, do you guys know what imperial system means? Measurements in terms imperial system?
Is that
It's the American system.
The American system, basically.
Foot
Foot and inches.
yards.
So, for example, you have two different systems.
Yes.
Huh?
But the American system also modified the imperial system, and now they have the U.S. imperial system.
what?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that
There's the imperial system, and then the USA modified it to use the U.S. imperial system.
Never
I
heard
was
of that.
confused.
Maybe there's.
We
They may have changed something, but
We
I.
had to do stuff with like gallons yesterday, and since I wasn't there, I was using like Google, and then I got it wrong because there was U.S. imperial system and imperial system, so I got it wrong.
Yeah.
So
Question.
a gallon is
Maybe.
U.S. a gallon
Our-
before cups to
Maybe that's an. Tim, maybe you can research a little bit more on what that is, not right now. And then maybe you can explain next class for us what is the difference between imperial and the U.S. imperial system.
U.S.
I haven't heard, but maybe there is something that they have changed.
Maybe.
Do you guys know any other number systems other than binary? Have you heard any other number systems? Any other names of any other number systems that you guys have used?
I'm not sure, but there's something like Kelvin. They measure like temperature in it. Like
Okay, but-
zero Celsius is like negative 200 something. I
Yeah,
think.
but those are,
I
kelvins
think-
is the units, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm talking about the number systems itself, right? Binary numbers they only have two numbers, 0 and 1.
The normal 1, 2, 3.
The normal 1, 2, 3, 4, what do you call it? What is the name for that?
It's the normal one.
Numbers.
Number system.
Base
Numbers.
10 is like-
Base 10. It has a name, decimal system, right? Deci means 10, right? Deci means 10. And so 10, you have 10 numbers, 0 through 9, we call it decimal system. Have you heard any other ones? Probably not. Okay, so the other one that commonly used is hexadecimal, which is 16 numbers, 0 through 9, and they use alphabets for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, which is A through F, A, B, C, D, E, F. Now, you would ask why, right? Why would we want 16 numbers with A, B, C, Ds in it? So the reason is, like, when you want to store a lot of information or you want to make it complicated. So take an example of your password. When you are making password, you want it to make complicated. You use characters, you use all kinds of things in it. So if you go into higher computers, you will understand why they are using 16 numbers. When it comes to security certificates, they want to encode something. A lot of information. If you want to encode a lot of information, you want a bigger number system, right? And that's why they use 16 digits in it. Now, so 16 is called hexadecimal, 10 numbers you call decimal, and then, 2 numbers you call binary. Does that mean can we have multiple number systems, any one we want? If we pick, hey, I want to have 7 numbers, can I have a number system?
Yes.
The answer is yes. We can pick any numbers, we can create our own number systems, but really, does it make sense to have 25 different number systems?
No.
Does it?
I think
Because it gets
that-
complicated and,
think-
we will all get confused.
I think the Mayans had a base 6 number system.
Yeah, base
or something.
64 number
Was
system.
it? Yeah.
They had base 64, and then I don't think you guys, even in 8th grade, generally algebra should have, they have base 2 conversions from base 10. There's also base 7 number system.
What about the Roman numbers?
Yeah.
There's a Roman number system.
Roman numbers, yeah,
They
yeah.
used to use different systems. But, once all of those are gone, because we have, it's very easy to multiply with 10 for humans because we have 10 toes, 10 fingers and all of that. It's very easy for us to visualize things and easy for us to multiply, so we go through number 10 system. Think about it. The computer can make only decision between, there are only 2 things that it can think about, yes or no. So it can only represent information in 2 ways, right? If you want to design a computer using 10 digits, right, it has to make 9 different decisions. What does 0 means? 1, 2, 3. How does it represent 9 different digits? That's why, right, when we were talking about in the previous video, when they were talking about the DNA that has long string, they are still working on the computer because it has to make that many decisions. Every time it sees a different thing, you have to assign a value so that it can exactly say, this exactly means. Today, computers can only speak one language, yes or no in electrical signals. That's why it's very difficult to design anything beyond that, because you have to tell that computer, when I give a 9, what should it say consistently. That's the difficulty part. But once you design that numbers, right? If somebody can figure that out, then your data gets compact. Because today, if we use really in our number system, decimal number system, if you use 8 digits, right? That is like units, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, 100,000, a million. You can represent that not just 145, but you can write it as a million, or even more than a million, 10 million, right? So, but we can only use that, we have to use this much of space just to write 145. So that is the challenge when it comes to the designing a system that has anything more than 2. You can give me the answer for the first one, created with 8 bits.
255?
How many parts? 8?
Okay.
No, 256.
Wait,
No, it's 255.
Okay. Why you say
Oh, you mean if you add
256?
all of them?
Plus 128 plus 128.
It's 255.
6.
I did good math. Good math.
Okay, it's a good thing to understand, right? So the answer is 256.
It's all
Right.
added together.
You know why? So the highest possible value when you turn every bit into 1 is 255. That's the value. But we are talking from 0 through 255. So you need to add 0 to it, right?
Oh.
That's also one other number. Like when you turn everything to 0, it's 0 is another number. So that's 256. That's it.
Wow. Very cool.
So what, second question.
Or does that work?
No.
Then it's a 0.
Is this how this works?
You have to start from here, right? Because see how it's 172.
Yeah.
The highest number is 128. Can you divide 172 by 128? Yes, you can. And what is left over? So you were trying to make all the way to 0. And that's how you do it.
Huh?
Not
This
from
makes
this
sense
order.
now.
It divides.
Right.
So it's a 1.
Right.
This one is like 64.
18 divided by 32. No, 6 at 32.
Right. So now
This.
No.
Okay, that's what's 18 again.
18. Does not stay 32, but you,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
it's 18.
Stays 18
so
and
it's again, so now it's 18.
Yep.
Here, like this?
16, yes, that works.
Yep. 164,
which
8.
equals 2.
22.
Well,
Okay.
Is
Oh,
0 multiplied by 2
Zero.
0.
So it's
8.
No, add this and see what it is. It should be, it's right, but it should be 205
82 is like 64.
total.
Oh, yeah, you
Oh, it
Yeah.
actually.
First and foremost, you will come up with the requirements of next 3 years. You know, you could be a graphic designer, you are interested in art, or you are interested in programming, or interested in something else. So what are your interests for next 3 years in high school, or even in the future? You may already have some. You play games, but you know, think of all of those and put down what your requirements are first. And then your partner and you may have different requirements, but the collaboration piece here for you guys is to talk to each other and come up with common requirements and say, okay, you know, even if we design a computer this way, it will work for both of us. And the second piece of it is, based on those requirements, right, you would pick what hardware components that you would want to include into that computer, and also software. For example, you may be thinking that, hey, you know, I want in high school, I'm going to take an art class or I'm interested in photography. And you may be requiring a Photoshop, which is an expensive software. But, you know, that is very essential for you. There are different types of monitors for you to work with photography or art because of the resolutions. Normal monitor doesn't give you all of that colors and all of this. So there are a lot of other things that you will you know, explore and find yourself while you are you know, doing this project. So what components would you pick based on your requirements? That is the second. You can write your requirements right here as a part of the requirements. And if you look at the second piece, which is hardware, and you can write your reasons. When you finish your research, when you find that component that you need, you can select your component, which is the hardware list, each piece, and then you write your reason why at the end of, you know, after the selection process is done, you will write a reason why you have selected this. Now, if you go online and look at this list, right, you will find probably 30 or 40 different things that you can plug into motherboard. I don't want you guys go around and, like, you know, and get lost in that whole thing. So what I did was I picked top 6 things so that we can minimize and utilize our time well. So these are main components of the computer, whatever you are doing. So I want you to focus on first 6. Now 7th one I put as an optional requirement, that is a motherboard. Motherboard has a lot of things, but even if you don't choose a motherboard, we can assume that it's automatically provided to you at that point. But I found when I was doing my research about the motherboard to get this project on, I found about 50 different companies that make those. So for you to get into all of that, it'll be too much at this stage for us, given the time and stuff. So focus on these 6, but if you guys have time, if you think you have time in your hands and want to look at motherboard and understand that, you can look at that information also. Coming down here, before the grading, I provided some links for sites. Now, if you are thinking about how am I going to start this project, these are some things that can help you. Just go and add all the, if you want to copy anything, just keep adding at the end. You can add a page, start typing whatever it is, because it's your copy, or you can. Right, so this one, first and foremost, this one is your requirements, right? In the next 3 years, what are your requirements? How would you use your computer for games, or see the possible things you might think you do with your computer over the next 3 years. Just demonstrate. If you go to high school, like, what are your interests? Whatever your interests are, right? List those interests as your requirements. And then, based on those requirements, let's say, for example, as I was thinking, like, you want to do arts or graphics or whatever it is, that requires some Photoshop software or graphics cards and very high level things, right? What kind of CPUs are available? What kind of RAMs are available? What kind of hard drives are available? And which one is faster, because you want to make so those are the ideas that you need to come up with. And when you look at, for example, RAM, right, you might see hey, I have 4 gig RAM, 16, 32 gig RAM, right? What is the difference between that? Then you might see, when it comes to CPU, you might see terms like 3.4 gigahertz processor, like processor speeds. How does that help you in doing your thing? I mean, can you go overboard? Yes, but then of course at the end, if you price it, it might come up with $10,000. That's not really relevant either, right? So you have to make sure that you are able to. We're not looking at money right now. All you are looking at
we obviously aren't
just understand what do I need for my requirements, and then pick 3 or 4 different.
Did you ask him? Ask him.
Then you can just keep adding. Okay, this is what I need, and then you can put all that information in. I picked this one because I'm doing this, and this is why I need it.
This one is about like, so if you look at the requirements of the grading itself, it's right here at the bottom. But hardware, I gave you six things. If you list all of them, that's fine. If you list anywhere between 4 and 6, you will be at the approaching level. And, you know. But these are, once you get into this, it should be pretty self-explanatory, and then you'll be able to, you know.
How much RAM do you want?
If you go and buy something that's already built for you, how would you be able to understand what it is going to do for you?
Okay, so here,
Right? How would you understand tomorrow you want to build your own computer? You won't get all the, see, when you are buying something that's already available, right? You don't have all the things that you need. You can customize it, but you can only customize 2 or 3 different things, not everything.
Okay.
Right? If you go and if you look at the article that I provided, that article gives you, like, if you really want to customize it, like there are water towers, like if you are doing fast gaming, it gets heated up all the time. So you can cool the machine in a different way, not just a fan, by using. So you can customize when you build your own, when you understand all these parts, how they fit together, you can build your own whatever you want for much less price than what you're looking at somebody build for you. That's what I want you to understand. Okay, there are all these parts, what does they mean, how do they fit? And when I have a computer, I have all these things in my computer. Right?
Inspired by famous creators like Mac, Windows, and Chromebooks, but when we were creating our computers, we tried to interpret our ideas, and we take into consideration what we really wanted to. For example, like we kind of compared it a lot to the computer we have now, our school computer. We were like, what do we like about it, what do we don't like about it? For example, like we like that it's flippable and it can be used like as like a tablet and all that.
So we basically took comfort into our like considerations because I feel like sometimes comfort is like the most important thing when you study, because it's really not good if you just have to like sit at a table and don't want to do it. And so when thinking of name, well, Surface 360, it was Sophia's idea. So she took a bit of my name and then just added the S from hers, and now we're just gonna
360 because it rotates 360.
Yeah.
So it rotates 360?
The screen.
Flip.
Yeah, flip. So you can go like this. So.
Like our
Like ours. But we made an ad.
Is it all the way up?
Yep.
Yeah.
So any other questions about our Lava Service 360?
yeah.
I have one
Yeah,
question
yeah.
on this slide. Now, I know you guys have listed a lot of the hardware components. When you are researching on what kind of hardware that you guys are using, have you found any kind of specifications or anything that you have learned from when you were doing the research on the hardware components? Did you find a lot of them, different varieties when you were searching?
Yeah,
We found a lot of different varieties.
So,
We went
but
to the gaming
the
website.
only things we wanted to actually specify was the hard drive, the monitor, and the motherboard.
Because I did most of the research for the motherboard and the hard drives and the touch screen. I found most of it. I'm the one who found the information on the Amazon.
So then, like, we decided together which one.
Yeah, because we went to the provided links and we researched a bit of the motherboards.
I mean,
that
the links
existed.
are also here, hyperlinked. If you just click on the,
Okay.
yeah, if you click on them, that's where we got our information.
Okay.
So then we, like, she found the site and then we just used it and then chose the best one according to pick the best components.
We first we wanted to go with a mini ATX, then we said that it was a bit too little because our laptop it is smaller than like our laptop because we wanted it to be small so it can fit into a lot of bags.
Uh-huh.
So, but we still chose the micro ATX because like it would have more space for us.
Yeah, more storage. It's a bit bigger, but it has more storage without bulking up the laptop.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, when you said like, when you were researching with the AI data, hard disk drives, you said, the best one. How did you make that choice?
According to like the
We read depending on how much memory it would have,
and like
how many ports it would have. So we considered all of that because we knew that if we use the mini one, it might be too small. It might be it might make the laptop, like I'd say, lighter maybe. But there were only two use?
yeah, I think it was like
The-
one or two.
Yes, like 1 or 2 ports for USB.
If we just considered like what would make it best, like yeah, more memory and also.
Okay.
Cool.
Questions? No? Okay. Good. Good job.